Okay, we are recording, and yes, somebody just reminded me. It doesn't look like we're having a problem, but if you can turn off your video feed, that will help us to have less of a bandwidth issue. And please keep yourself muted unless you are going to ask a question. That will help as well. All right, I am going to share my screen again. And I want to start with showing you the checklist that I created for myself a few weeks ago, because I kept forgetting a couple things, like starting the recording at the beginning of the meeting. And I had developed this list of things that I go through, like when I'm getting ready to join the meeting. Even after I join, then I'm usually getting things ready while we're kind of chatting and getting ready to start. If I'm showing a PowerPoint, I want to get that open at that time. Today, I'm going to be showing you a couple of Word documents. So those are all open on different tabs for me. And also a couple of websites that I want to show you. So those are all open and ready for me to switch over to those other tabs. I also have a reminder to myself to turn off the ringer on my cell phone so it doesn't go off in the middle of the presentation. I don't have my second PC logged in tonight, so I don't have to worry about muting the audio on there. I have not figured out a fast way to turn off the notifications, so I haven't been bothering with that, but it might be something I should look into at some point. And then once we start, I'm normally introduce the guest presenter. And usually I give a little bit of an overview about the program, and I didn't do that today, so I will. This is the Virtual Skill Builders series, and a lot of you I know have been here before, but if some of you are new to this program, I'll just let you know that the intention of this program is to have a weekly, very short events, 10 to 15 minute demo or presentation, and then a time for either a practice exercise or for question and answers afterwards. So somebody's telling me to crop my monitor, and I'm not sure what you mean, but I'm going to give you access to this document so you'll be able to see the whole thing at that point. At the end of the meeting, the other thing that I was forgetting for several weeks was to download the participant list before I end the meeting. Once you've ended the meeting, then you're not going to get the full participant list. You can still go back in and get the participant list, but it'll only show you whoever happens to still be logged in because they never really logged out of the meeting. So that's not really what you want. You might have 10 or 12 people left at that point. The way that you do that, you can only download that list if you are the host or the owner of the meeting. So you're not going to see it unless it's your meeting that you created and that you're running. So I'm not going to take the time to show you that right now, but you'll see on your toolbar, it'll show you where to see the participants. And then once you go to that list of participants, then it will have you a link there where you can download it all. Yes, you do get all the participants. It's not just a snapshot. It's I do it at the end of the meeting before I stop the meeting. So that way it's captured everybody, even if they logged in 5 minutes before the meeting was over, right? And it shows you for each person, you see an entry when they joined the meeting and when they left the meeting. Now, sometimes not everybody has left at that point when I'm finishing things up. So you might see only one entry for them, but normally you would see when they arrived and when they left, which I don't really care that much about for this. But if you were trying to track attendance at a class, or, where you really had to keep track of were they there for most of the class, then you would be able to tell that. It's not something you can figure out very simply because it's just a list of all of those entries and exits. So I've heard that Microsoft is working on an easier way to do that kind of attendance tracking. It's a little clunky right now, but you can get it and you can download it. The other thing that I discovered, which a lot of people aren't even aware of, is once you stop that recording and you end the meeting, it takes normally a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, for that recording message to show up in the chat window. So I just keep my Teams open and I go over to the chat tab instead of the main meeting tab, and I just kind of wait for that message to come up. It also sends me an email in my Outlook account, and so it'll show up there as an email from Microsoft Stream. Somebody has just joined or unmuted themselves, but we're getting a lot of background noise. Can you go ahead and mute yourself, please? Please mute your microphone. Thank you. So what I do then when I get that message about the recording is it will show in the Teams window, it will show you, and I actually have an example of this. Let me see if I can get it to come up. Let's see. I don't know if I can do that without dumping myself out of this meeting, so I'm not going to try. But you'll see it either in the chat or in your email account. It's got a big, bright, kind of hot pink arrow and says stream on it. What you want to do is click on that. It'll take you to the recording. And then you click on the 3 dots and tell it to open the recording in Microsoft Stream. You don't want to just look at it in the chat. You want to actually open it in Microsoft Stream. Once you get to there are 2 things that I do normally. You may not need to do the download, but you definitely want to do the first one of updating the video details. If you don't do that, the only people who are going to be able to see that recording are people who actually attended the event live. Of course, part of the reason we're recording it is for people who could not attend live, right? So when they go to try to watch the recording, they're going to get a message saying, this may not be for you. Please contact your administrator. So what I do as soon as I get that recording message is go into Stream. You're going to click on the 3 dots in the Stream window, and there are a number of choices there. First thing I do is update the video details, and there's a place where you can check a box to allow anyone in the company to view the recording. Now, obviously, we don't need everybody to view it, but there's not really any in-between option. So the only people that are going to see it are the ones that have the link to see it. But at least by checking that, they'll be able to view it even if they did not attend the meeting. And then the other thing that I do is click on, again, on that 3 dots and download the video as an MP4, so that for this series, what I do is upload it to our YouTube channel. But yesterday for the all hands meeting, I showed Angela, who was running that meeting, how to download it as an MP4 so that she can upload that to the Files tab in Volunteer Connection for people who want to watch the recording as well. In the company implies anybody who has a Red Cross email address. Yes, you do have to have an ARC email in order to view the recording in Teams or in Microsoft Stream. And that's the reason why I then also upload it to YouTube, and why I told Angela to upload it to the Files tab in Volunteer Connection, so that anybody who has access to Volunteer Connection can then watch it in on the Volunteer Connection Files tab. And anybody can find it on the YouTube channel. Can I show you how to access the recording? I can't see the whole question here. Oh, like the one from yesterday. I can't show you the one from yesterday because it wasn't my meeting. So, or you mean for how you can access it? Yes, I'll show you that in Volunteer Connection in just a few minutes. Okay, I am going to show you a couple other things in Volunteer Connection, so we'll look at that as well. I don't know if Angela's uploaded it yet, but I'll show you where it should be. All right, so I know that was a lot of stuff, and like I said, I'm going to upload that checklist. I'll upload it to the Files tab here in the team for those of you that are members of the team, but I will also upload it to the Files tab in Volunteer Connection for those of you that don't have a Red Cross email and therefore can't be a team member. All right, so, you know, not all of you are going to need that checklist because it's really only if you are creating and running a meeting that you need to worry about all that stuff. But that may be something that you end up doing, and some of you are probably already doing it. I know one of the things that we've considered DST people might be able to help with, either on a DR or just in your home region, is to offer to help run the meetings, like the all hands meeting we had yesterday, right? There is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make that happen. And as you get familiar with how those kinds of things work in teams, you can go to your DST lead in the region and say, you know, if they're having meetings for all the volunteers in your region and they want someone to help run the meeting in teams that you are comfortable doing that, and you'd be willing to help out. So you can let them know that, yes, I don't know how to use that word, but somebody says a great way to ingratiate oneself with the region. I would say it's a great way to be of service to your region. All right, so let me also show you while we're talking about it. I think probably a lot of you know that. Let's see, Steve says, if some folks in the region have Teams conference bridge license, yeah, that is an issue. In that case, they probably need to run the meeting themselves, but you can certainly help them with these kinds of tasks that they may not know about, right? Or they may even want you to, Steve, can you set up the meeting for them and then just use their conference line? Is that what you're saying? He says yes. Okay. I wasn't sure if that was a possibility, but that's good to know. Thank you.
Well, let me clarify.
Okay.
As most people already know, the conference bridge is a separate license that one must request. It's not particularly difficult to get, but it's somewhat more difficult to keep because if you don't use it often, they will take it back. It doesn't make sense for someone in the region who is running one meeting a quarter to have the license, and there is no magic to the organizer being in the meeting. So as a person who has that license, I can set up a meeting for someone else in the region who wants the call-in number, and they can run the meeting. I don't have to be there.
Oh, but they're using your call-in number then?
They're using my call-in number,
okay.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, I was thinking the other way around, that it was their call-in number, but you would set it up.
They don't have a call-in number because they don't have the license.
I understand. Okay, so yeah, that's maybe something we could go over at another session to talk about, you know, what you need to schedule the meeting, because obviously that's not something that I have on my checklist here, and how to include the conference number. But that's good to know that there are ways you can help them with that too. All right, I was going to take you over to the YouTube channel. And I've got that open here. If you haven't been out here, you need to know about this. The name of the channel is DST Training Videos. You can just do a search in YouTube for that. I also have it on a document full of links that I'm going to share with you as well. If you have not been out here before, you'll see this intro video play automatically. Once you subscribe to the channel, you won't see that anymore. And then the most recent videos are here, but you can also go click on playlists, and you'll see we have a playlist for all the Virtual Skill Builders recordings. And then the rest of this is, there's a couple of kind of general help things for Edge and WebEx, but most of this is, I'm not sure why we have DST overview out here. I'm gonna have to look on that. But most of it is the demos of assembling and configuring the equipment, the videos that Tina Chi and Charlie Matthew helped us create about 2 years ago. We haven't done any recently, but those are out here. If you've never seen them, they can be a good review for you.
Why is the first one a pink background?
Because I decided to make them stand out. So I'm using a custom thumbnail image for that, and I just create those in PowerPoint. And I matched the background to the image that I'm using for this program, the Skill Builders, which had that color around the background. So I just extended it to the whole slide. All right, so this is there if you ever do miss one of these, or you want to go back and watch the recording again, which for some of them can be very helpful if it's very technical. Are there any benefits to being a member of the YouTube channel? No, not really. The only thing is you would know every time we upload a new video, but if you're attending these events, you're going to know that anyway, because that's mostly what we're adding right now is for these events. No, you don't need to go through volunteer connection to get here. You just go to your browser and type in youtube.com, and then once you get YouTube open, then search for the DST channel. All right, let me see, what do we want to do next? Oh, let me show you this other links document too, and then we'll go into volunteer connection. All right, so this is a bunch of links that I'm often being asked for, so I put them all together on one document. And I will go ahead and share this in the team as well, and also on the Files tab and Volunteer Connection. This has, for any of you that do not have the Teams app yet already installed, I haven't done it this way because I do have a Red Cross account, but supposedly you can download Teams here yourself. You do not have to have a Microsoft account. I think you might need to create a Microsoft account, but you don't have to have a Microsoft subscription, to Office 365 subscription. So it should be free to set up. But like I said, I haven't done it, so you'll have to, if it doesn't work for you, it's not my fault. All right, if you have not joined the Virtual Skill Builders team yet, you can use this code to join it. And you just go to the lower left-hand corner of your Teams app screen, and where it says find, or no, I think it says create or join a team. If you click on that, and then you'll see one of the options is to join a team using a code, and you just put this code in there. You do have to have a Red Cross email address to join. And I just showed you where to find the videos on YouTube. Here's the link that'll take you right to the playlist for the Virtual Skill Builders if you want that. All right, in terms of scheduling the events, we are still working on the best way to do that. I know lots of you have asked me for, how can you just have it, click a link and have it show up on your calendar. And the problem is that we're trying to include people that can't access Microsoft Teams, so sharing it in there doesn't help for everybody. What Neil has helped me set up, I think will be a good way for you, but as I said, we've had to reschedule that. So I'm sharing a Word document right now. Yes, I'm sharing my whole screen to do that because I'm going back and forth between websites and documents. If that's not working and you're not seeing as I change, can somebody let me know? I assumed that when I changed from one to the other that you would see that.
We do see that, but it's too small to read, that you're going to make the file available. So
I am going to make the files available to
overview,
you. Yep.
so we can access it later.
Yep, you can access it later. That's right. And I'll put this link in the chat for you right now. One of the links I have on here is how to access the DST remote support toolkit on the Exchange. And let me get back to the Teams screen so I can do that. No, I am not on an ARC computer right now. I'm on my home computer. Is it blocking you from going to YouTube? I'm surprised. Oh, yeah, don't search for DST. Search for DST training videos. If you put the whole name in there, you should get our channel. And if not, you can wait and use the link in the document here. Okay, here is the link for you to access the toolkit on the Exchange. Let's see. I guess I could share the YouTube playlist link with you too, because I've got that right here. You don't have to search for it. And then let me just show you one thing in Volunteer Connection, and then we'll take a few questions. Sorry, I didn't intend to go on this long, but we have been answering some questions as we go along. Oh, I wanted to show you, Ajay had shared this in the Volunteer Connection group share about this free Microsoft training. But when I went to click on the link that he shared, I got an error message. So I looked up a different link that'll take you directly to this TechSoup page. If you don't know TechSoup, they do a lot of IT support for nonprofits, and they are apparently pairing up with Microsoft to offer this new website here. Let me grab that link for you too. They have some free training here. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see there are 5 courses that are available for free right now for Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Teams, and Microsoft BI. And then they have some more that are coming soon. So I would definitely take advantage of those. They're good, considerably long courses too, like some of them are 4-hour courses. So I would definitely check those out. Okay, here's the link to that Microsoft Digital Skills Center page. And then let me just show you in Volunteer Connection. Once you're logged in and you go to the DST group share, the discussion tab is where we sometimes put that kind of information. And I usually will put a link, a post here that will have the link to something that I'm putting on the files tab. And I put the recording links in here as well. But here on this files tab is where you can actually upload documents. And so we normally I will upload these Word documents here. I'll probably zip them all together, and then you can download all 3 of them at once. But what we've been doing, Derek Boone and I have been normally putting the all hands meeting recordings here. Angela is starting to take those over now, so I don't know whether she did the latest one. But if you click to open that up, you'll see, yeah, it doesn't look like she has the new one out here. You can tell by the date it was uploaded. I often will put the date at the end of the file name too. So this is where you can come to look for the video file and the slides from the meeting, from the all hands meeting. And I don't bother.
Do you have to be a member of the DST to access?
You do need to, but if you got the email with this information, then you are most likely a member of this group share, because that should be who received the email. If you don't see that group share when you're on your home page, or just if you go up here, it's going to be under the global groups. If you don't see disaster services technology here, you should talk to, I don't know who manages that. It's somebody in your region that would have to make sure that you have that gap. But I believe if you're getting our emails, then you probably have that gap. Ajay says it's the DWE for your region. Somebody else says member engagement, so I'm not sure. You know, the other thing you could look at too is we had someone here from Disaster Workforce Engagement a few weeks ago that gave a little demo about Volunteer Connection. And I know she talked about some of that too. So you could look for that recording on the YouTube channel. All right, I'm sorry I took up almost all the time, but I am willing to answer questions if anybody has some. And if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, unless we get flooded with people all asking questions at once, I won't worry about hand raising because I got too many screens open here to keep track of everything. Yeah, as far as I know, those TechSoup courses are free. Somebody's asking, are they free for volunteers? I don't think they're going to check whether it's a volunteer or paid staff. I could be wrong about that. I haven't tried to sign up yet. But hopefully there's not an issue there. All right, I see somebody has their hand up, but I don't know who it is. Let's see. Because they're showing up in the plus 45. So. Oh, good. I'm glad people are giving comments that they're enjoying it. All right. If you have a question and you can go ahead and unmute yourself, I'll be happy to answer.
Susan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Sarah.
I put up a question. I put Ham Club. Good grief. Anyway, our Ham Club out here in Arizona is going to set up a YouTube space for to post presentations and things that we have at our meetings. Are there any ARC guidelines that we should know about?
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't mean there aren't any, but we weren't aware of any when we set ours up. So
okay.
The only thing is that you do need an email address, to start the channel. So we connected that to our DST 101 at Red Cross email address, I believe. I'd have to go check for sure. It doesn't have to be a Red Cross email to set up the channel, but you do want an email address that somebody else can pick up if the person who created it then is not going to do it anymore.
Okay, we have a board email address that would probably
Yeah,
be the
that would be
one to
perfect.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
And
thank you.
then you'll want to go through all of the information that Google provides, about how to set up, who can administer the account, and probably a good idea to have a couple of people with administrator rights, so one person's not trying to do it all.
Sure. Okay, great,
But
thanks.
they have good training on that on Google
Okay, good.
or on YouTube. I mean.
Uh-huh.
All right. Any other questions? If not, we'll go ahead and wrap up for the evening. Oh, Dick is asking a new date for the calendar training. No, I just got the email this morning from Neil, and he's on the DR. So I told him to let me know when he's free, and then we'll reschedule. I don't want you to have to wait, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for that. So once he's available, I may see if we can go ahead and just record something and put it out there on YouTube instead of waiting to do it live, because he had a number of different little very short demo videos about how to do the subscribing on, depending on what kind of calendar you have. He really put a lot of work into it. So we will definitely get that soon, whether we have to wait a month to do that or if we can do something just recorded. I can't say it for sure at this point. But I will mention we have an event which you should have gotten an email about along with this one next Wednesday evening. Cindy Hughes and then Tina Chee's going to back her up and help her out with it. They're going to do another Q&A event. But we really want to try and limit it this time. I know last month when Tina and Chuck helped her, they answered a lot of questions about DST policy and shipping equipment and how DRs are being handled. And then Chuck talked some more about that yesterday at the all hands meeting. And, we don't want to deal with those questions every time. So if you have those kind of questions, I would say go watch the recording from last month, and let's try to limit it to either software questions or Teams questions or general digital activity kinds of questions, if that makes sense. And then we're looking at the first week in September, presenting something about, we have 3 different methods now that we've identified for getting rid of an echo on a Teams meeting. Some of them are not real convenient and others are more convenient. So we're going to present those to you. So that should be an interesting episode. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for attending. And I look forward to seeing you the next week for the open office hours Q&A.